Maya Chen stood in the rain outside Luminance Corp, watching through the glass windows as her former colleagues celebrated. They were toasting champagne, laughing, completely unaware that the woman they'd destroyed 5 years ago was now the one holding their futures in her hands. But this story doesn't start here. It starts in a cramped apartment with a single mother working 3 jobs and a dream that everyone told her was impossible. 5 years earlier, Maya was a junior data analyst at Luminance Corp, barely making enough to support her 7-year-old daughter, Lily. Every morning, she'd drop Lily at her mother's house, then take 2 buses to work, arriving an hour early just to prove she belonged. Maya had one friend at work, or so she thought. His name was Derek Harrison, the golden boy of the analytics department. Handsome, charming, from old money. They'd work late together, and Maya thought they were partners. She even trusted him with her secret project, a revolutionary algorithm that could predict market trends with 93% accuracy. She'd spent 2 years developing it on her own time, pouring every spare moment into the code while Lily slept. It was going to change everything. She was going to present it to the board and finally lift herself and her daughter out of poverty. 1 week before her presentation, Maya stayed home with Lily, who had the flu. That's when Derek struck. He presented Maya's algorithm to the board as his own work. Every line of code, every innovation. He claimed it all. When Maya returned to work, she walked into a celebration. Derek had been promoted to vice president. He'd been given a corner office, a 6-figure bonus. Everything she'd worked for. She tried to fight back. She showed her work logs, her personal files, her dated documentation. But Derek had done something clever. He'd been making copies of her work for months and backdating them on the company server. He had the CTO in his pocket, a man named Richard Voss, who happened to be his godfather. The CEO, Victoria Sterling, listened to both sides with cold eyes. Then she made her decision. Miss Chen, these are serious allegations. Accusations of theft against a respected colleague with documented proof of his work? I'm afraid we're going to have to let you go. We don't tolerate this kind of behavior at Luminance. Maya's world shattered. Not only did she lose her job, but Derek and Richard spread rumors throughout the industry. They called her unstable, a thief, someone who tried to steal credit for another's work. Nobody would hire her. The night she was evicted from her apartment, Maya sat on the curb with Lily sleeping in her arms and their belongings in garbage bags around them. She cried for hours. But somewhere in that darkness, something hardened inside her. They wanted to break her? Fine. But she was going to make sure they regretted it for the rest of their lives. Maya moved back to her mother's small house in Ohio. She took a job at a call center during the day. At night, after Lily fell asleep, she learned everything she could about venture capital, business acquisitions, and corporate warfare. She also still had her algorithm. The original code was in her personal cloud drive, time-stamped and backed up. She spent 6 months perfecting it, making it even better than before. Then she took the biggest risk of her life. She flew to San Francisco with her last $2,000 and pitched the algorithm to a young venture capitalist named Sarah Kim at a startup conference. Sarah saw what Derek had been too greedy to see. The algorithm wasn't just about market prediction. It could revolutionize investment strategy across multiple industries. Sarah invested $3 million in Maya's new company, Nightingale Analytics. Over the next 4 years, Maya built an empire. She hired the best team in the industry. She stayed in the shadows, using an LLC structure that kept her name hidden from the public. Nightingale Analytics grew to become the most sought-after predictive analytics firm in the country, valued at $200 million. And all the while, Maya watched Luminance Corp. She watched Derek climb higher, becoming COO. She watched Richard become CEO after Victoria retired. She watched them get comfortable, arrogant, careless. She watched and waited for the perfect moment to strike. That moment came when Luminance Corp went public. They were flush with cash, but had made a critical mistake. They'd expanded too fast, taking on massive debt and making risky investments. They needed a miracle to satisfy their new shareholders. That's when Maya made her move. Nightingale. Analytics publicly announced they'd developed a new market prediction system, one that had a 98% accuracy rate. The business world went crazy. Luminance's stock dropped 15% in a single day because their revolutionary algorithm, the one Derek had stolen, suddenly looked obsolete. Then Maya did something even more devastating. She leaked internal documents proving that Luminance's algorithm, the foundation of their entire business model, had been stolen from a former employee 5 years ago. She released her original time-stamped files, her work logs, everything. The board of Luminance Corp called an emergency meeting. Shareholders threatened lawsuits. The SEC opened an investigation, and then Maya revealed herself. She sent a personal message to Derek and Richard, requesting a meeting. They sat in their corner office. These two men who'd taken everything from her, and for the first time in 5 years. They looked small. "You destroyed my life," Maya said quietly. "You took my work, my reputation, my ability to provide for my daughter. You laughed when I had nothing." Derek's face was pale. "Maya, we can make this right. We can give you a settlement. Whatever you want," Maya smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. "I don't want your money. I want you to feel what I felt. Nightingale Analytics is purchasing Luminance Corp. The board approved it this morning. They had no choice. And here's what's going to happen. You're both fired, effective immediately. I'm releasing the full story to every major publication. And I've set up a foundation in my daughter's name that will ensure no one else gets stolen from the way I did." She stood up, straightening her jacket. Armani, custom-made. Nothing like the threadbare clothes she'd worn the last day she'd been in this building. "You taught me something important," she said at the door. "You taught me that the world doesn't care about fairness. It cares about power. So I got powerful enough to create my own justice." 3 months later, Maya stood in front of Luminance Corp., now a subsidiary of Nightingale Analytics. The sign was coming down, being replaced with her company's logo, a nightingale rising from flames. Lily stood beside her, 12 years old now, watching with bright, proud eyes. "Is it worth it, Mom?" Lily asked. "All these years?" Maya thought about the answer. The revenge had been sweet, yes, but sweeter still was knowing that her daughter had watched her mother refuse to stay broken, that she'd seen perseverance, strategy, and justice prevail. "Yes, sweetheart," Maya said, taking her daughter's hand. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destruction. It's about becoming so successful that those who tried to bury you have to watch you bloom. As they walked away, Maya didn't look back. She didn't need to. Some nightmares, after all, are just dreams that refuse to die.